Hey YouTube, long time no see, stranger. Yeah, it's been a really peculiar season here. And I'm going to start off over here, like I've done in the past. And I'm going to honestly take you through the whole back garden and kind of fill you in on what's happened, what changed, and where I'm going with everything. So, as the country knows, it was particularly a weird seasons. Spring and summer were great, but there were periods that were just extremely hot and extremely dry, which caused to me as a gardener to make some tough choices and want to plant things that would survive without a lot of intervention. So that's the goal. This pot here had coleus in it, which it still has one, and it had nasturtium, which has reseeded everywhere, which I'm not mad at. You know, hopefully they reseed again in the spring and I don't have to plant them again. I mean, they're literally everywhere, and I don't mind them popping up because if I don't like them, I could just pull them. But there's some more over there too. I'm excited by it because I love this variety. It's a variegated Canadian red from Rare Seeds, Baker's Creek. But yeah, they're popping up everywhere. So I'm guessing the seeds escaped and germinated very well. So anyway, this is a cotoneaster. This is a evergreen, some type of arbovita, and just a mix of things. I was kind of like scrambling, but I wanted everything to look aesthetically pleasing. I had a hosta here that didn't do very well. I'm sure next spring it'll be great and lush as they always are along here. I'm known for having this lush little border of hostas, but they fried. So I want to do one of two things. I want to add other things that can shade them. I'm going to start selectively taking some of them out, and then I'm going to put some taller things that will be like a canopy to cut down on the harshness of the sun. So I had a Paris here, which fried. So I have planted now this sweet tea gardenia. Hopefully it does well. It's getting it put into the ground at a good time. It's been about a week now. It's got some rain and I've supplemental watered it, so it should be wonderful come springtime with those nice fragrant flowers. I had two purple sanctuaries here. As you can see, they died. These were things that I planted years ago, and I love them. Nice little pink flowers, but they died for some reason. But that's okay. It gave me an opportunity to do something different. I have this Japanese maple, which people comment weird things, I promise you, and I'm just always a little bit, I don't know. I'm not disturbed by it, but, you know, I guess they mean well. People are like, why would you plant something that's not native? That's why we got animal issues. I got a little tiny garden here. I am not the reason that we have animal issues. I'm planting what's right for my space, and I need things that have small leaves that will provide the right shade for my garden. And you do what you want in your garden. This is my oasis, and I'm going to do it the way I like to do it. And if that doesn't make you happy, I don't know what to tell you. These daisies, I love them. I really do. I love them. But they're just a bully. They just get really big and fall and flop. And even if I cut them off, they tend to just be real raggedy. I had two bushes of them. This one, next year, I'm going to cut it to within an inch of its life. And hopefully that will make for a much more compact plant. There's mondo grass in here. There's weeds in here, which I don't pull weeds. I don't fight weeds. I just do things that can help me eliminate them. So if this doesn't do well for the next season, there's a lot of buds all over it. I won't hesitate to take this out because it may not just be the right thing for this area. But like I said, I'm gonna cut it down to about that tall and see if that flushes out to be a nice little bush instead of this tall little lanky thing, which is kind of ugly, although the flowers are exquisite. I have this evergreen shrub here, some type of boxwood, so that'll provide some nice little evergreen interest here. I lost a pine tree back here, but I have this here. I have some liripe here with a variegated color. I planted this false holly, which I really like. Here I planted another Japanese maple, which should provide a similar type of canopy here, which will protect the underplantings here. I already moved my greenhouse for the springtime. It was in the corner here, so this will be where I harden off my things in the spring. So that's there. Plantation lilies, they did better than the hostas, but they still kind of suffered a bit. But there's 3 clumps, one kind of like really fried. But I'll call it a bad year for them, and kind of like let them slide this time. I got the coreopsis under the bottom here. Love those. Those are great. Yeah, I have this was this rhododendron here, which it had many arms. One fried and died. One is pretty strong. Hopefully the Japanese maple gets taller. Oh, can you see me? Gets taller, and then rhododendron stays kind of low here or grows out here. You know, it's gonna be all right. There's another one. This has great color. I don't know all the variety names. You know, it's a work in progress. And it's a azalea, which these is 2 here, and they've always done well. Beautiful spring color, wonderful. I have the autumn something sedum here, which they did well. They also need to be cut back by half. Springtime, not spring, early summer, so that by the fall time, they're not tall and lanky. They're just a nice little mound of a sedum here. And then the burning bush, no fall color yet. Hopefully we get that nice red color, which is where they get their name from. There's 2 of them here. That'll be wonderful. I discovered that this area here, which I've always planted hostas and different things, they struggle, and there's soil only about this deep. I just thought it maybe was in certain areas, but it seems to be a slab of concrete here. So I need to plant a nice ground cover, which will kind of like mask the weeds out, you know. So the liripe looks good. I like the liripe here. They variegated liripe. Now I got that for free, so I didn't buy that. But if I come across some more of that, I probably will mass plant that really heavily here and just provide a nice little under texture for the burning bush and just call it done. Oh, mosquitoes. This hosta is glorious. It's one of the bluer cast ones, which I really like. It's getting pretty big. I could divide this at this point and do something with that. I need to clean out this area for weeds. And then I have this azalea here, which I planted here late in the season. It struggled, but it has a ton of new growth on it, so I think it'll be quite nice here. Just clean up the weeds, and that'll be that. I have some toad lilies here, which are wonderful. I have this forsythia bush, which I wanted to experiment with and create like an arch here, but we'll see. This area here is where I throw all of my this is a graveyard for things that didn't make it, and I don't mind having look at those bugs. I don't mind having an area like that. It could be a habitat for wildlife. See, I like the wildlife. You know, they could forage and seed pick and whatever they need to do with this area. I've dedicated a lot of area to that, just throwing and letting things slowly decompose on their own. So Wigelia here, which probably needs more sun, but it's dipped in red or something like that. It never bloomed this year, so I don't think it's the proper place for it. This is a seedless quince, which did wonderful. It's a little bit of a leaf curl. I don't know what that's all about. But yeah, so I planted that last year. I'll let that go and see what that does for a couple more seasons. I planted another sweet tea gardenia, which very fragrant. I mean, it's like a rose, but not. It's just a very florally smell, which is quite nice. And I feel like if you're sitting here, you're gonna really appreciate that. And then you have the false holly here, which has great new growth color. The new growth that gets pushed out is very similar to this. So can you imagine this plant pushing out a red new growth at the top, which is quite attractive for something that doesn't have a blossom. As you can see, I have some new plants here. This is Nova Zembla rhododendron. $25. I got it for $6. This is a purple rhododendron, very healthy plant, very healthy. I got this for $9. Same thing with this one. This one is $40. This is a purple passion, very healthy plant. I got it for $9. Very excited. Which brings me to this corner here. This is where my greenhouse set. That one over there. So now I'm going to move this stone. I'm going to place 2 of those rhododendrons here and create just this little wonderful natural fence, which will block off the area that I've dedicated to being wild and things can decompose back there. So as you can see, it's just a dead area. If I put the rhododendrons here, I think they'll get nice and big and be wonderful, and it'll block that off and let that do its thing. I have this little area here with cotoneasters, which do quite nicely. They have these wonderful red berries, and there's also 2 azalea bushes, which when I planted them, I didn't have anywhere to plant them. I could probably move them now and just let the cotoneasters do their thing and climb up this fence and be great. Move these chairs. This is the vegetable garden, which has been put to bed for the season. So that's that. Still have some kale over there. Rose is doing good. This was a softening the edges project, which I just cut there's under this, there's a green like astroturf, and I cut the corner off and I planted this rose here, which is as yellow as these chairs, and I thought that would be nice to kind of like soften that edge here. And then I did the same thing here to kind of like make a little area here. And if I come back to the front up here, a few days ago I planted these Nandina, which are just absolutely stunning. The color is amazing. There's 2 varieties here. Don't ask me what they are. I don't know what the first one is, but these right here are this Sienna Sunrise Heavenly Bamboo, full sun, partial sun, which they'll do great here. Hopefully they get nice and tall and become this like thing that I can carve to be very architectural, which provides great fall interest and just a little block for the path. So yeah, This area right here needs a little bit of work. By a little bit, I mean a lot. But it's coming along. I have this evergreen here, which hopefully gets tall, and I can under prune it and have it be something nice and structural. In that corner is underplanted with an azalea, which is a beautiful variety. It has like pure white flowers, and then the foliage is like fuzzy, so that's kind of nice. There's a Rebecca here, which can always be pulled out if it becomes too much here. And then there's this creeping variety of evergreen here, which could trail down, and once everything grows in and becomes more mature. This is a very new garden. There's a lot of bulbs over here, iams and crocuses and stuff like that. So it has a lot of springtime interest, not very much summer interest other than weeds or things that I don't want. There is some what is it called? Stuff for monarchs. Whatever the stuff is that you plant for monarchs. As you can see, there's a piece right there. It was some seeds that I had got. I need to plant milkweed. I want to plant more milkweed here so that I can attract some pollinators. More specifically, the monarchs. This is a beautiful rose. It suffered and suffered and suffered. I finally got a trellis for it, and it is doing quite nicely. Come fall, I'm going to cut it back to a couple of canes here, and then next spring hopefully it'll put out more, and I can train them up to have like 3 main canes with a lot of bushing during the flowering season and just be wonderful. It's been several seasons and I haven't really been able to enjoy it other than a couple of blooms because it struggled, but it seems to be doing quite nicely now. Dinosaur kale, my favorite. Just absolutely wonderful and nutritious. It does get bugs like any other kale, but it is very easy to clean. And once you clean it, you take the rib out, you chop it up like little segments, a little bit of olive oil and salt, and you dehydrate it in the oven on like the lowest setting until it becomes crispy, and it makes wonderful kale chips. Or you can saute it down and eat it that way too. But this goes and goes and goes and goes. This plant is like, I think 1 season old or 2 seasons old. The original stalk, as you can see back there, cut it off, it put out another one. Once these are done, I can cut that off and it'll put out another one. So you're talking about getting your money's worth for something that just keeps on giving. Awesome. So before I lose all, I had 1 elephant ear planted here at this garden. I have all the rest of my bulbs planted at another garden, but I just wanted to rip it out the ground. That was back here in the space where I'm about to plant this corner up, so I needed to move that. But I'm gonna go before I lose all of my light, and I'm gonna plant this corner up, and I'll make a short of that process and post it. Sorry, it's been a weird season. I'll never be YouTube famous with the way I post, but peace and blessings, and as always, happy growing.